Here now with more on Iran and today's tariff ruling, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. Senator Kennedy, so great to see you. So what can you tell us about what is going on around Iran right now?
Well, let me talk about tariffs first, Charlie, because my views on this are a little heterodox. If you listen to the oral argument in this case, Stevie Wonder could see this decision coming. What's the end result? Here's the end result. For 13 months, President Trump assumed tariff authority that the Supreme Court today said he didn't have. Now, the president didn't just sit around admiring that trade authority, that tariff authority, sucking on his teeth. He used it, and he used it to negotiate trade agreements. India, Japan, South Korea, Europe, those countries are not going to rescind those trade agreements, not in your or my natural lifetime. And he would not have been able to do those trade agreements had he not assumed this authority. Number two, as your guests have pointed out, the IEEPA statute, which the court ruled on today, is not the only trade statute, tariff statute. There's the Trade Expansion Act, the 1974 Trade Act. The president's already using those. And number three, if the president feels strongly enough about it, he can ask us to amend the IEEPA statute and to give him the authority that the Supreme Court today said he didn't have. Look, Charlie, you know the president as well as I do. How can I put this? He believes in being a bear. And he thinks if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. And I don't expect Western civilization to end here, and I don't expect the president, whether you agree with him or not, to back up on tariffs. The most interesting question is, what do we do with all this money? We've got between 150 and 400 billion dollars in tariffs collected. That money's not in other countries; it's here. My Democratic colleagues are saying, "Oh, give it back, give it back." Well, my Democratic peeps better be careful what they ask for, because if he gives back $300 billion worth of tariff money to the business community in America, this economy's going to roar, man. And the midterms are only a few months off.
So, of course, before we had the infernal income tax and the federal income tax, our entire federal government was largely run on those tariffs. And people today love to point out that, oh, no, you couldn't do that with the federal government today. What do you say to those people?
Well, this is what I say. One of the people on ahead of me made the point. Article 1 of the Constitution is pretty clear. Tariff authority presides with Congress. Now, Congress on occasion has shared that tariff authority with the executive branch. The Supreme Court today said we didn't share as much tariff authority with the president as he said we shared with him in the IEEPA statute. So he can amend that statute.
Right.
But my point is, in the meantime, he didn't wait around for a Supreme Court opinion.
Right.
He used the leverage from IEEPA to negotiate trade agreements. And I don't agree with everything he's done on trade, but if I'm sitting there in the president's shoes, I'm going to take my win.
Right.
And that's why I say my views are, I'm going to take my win.
Right.
This is not a total defeat.
Well, I do have to say, and I love your analogy of President Trump as a bear and a grizzly bear at that. He fights for what he wants, and he fights what he believes is best for the American people, which is how he has been so successful in his political career. But it is kind of interesting on the conservative side of things, on the Republican side of things, we're having lots of really interesting discussions with very serious people coming, offering serious solutions to problems like open borders and how to deal with Iran and how to deal with tariffs and all these kind of things. And over on the Democrat side, across the aisle from you, there's just crickets of intelligence over there. It's like the smartest person over there is AOC these days, and she's not very smart.
Well, it's not all crickets. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez went to Munich this week and made some comments about foreign policy. Look, I don't hate anybody, and I certainly don't hate the Congresswoman. But how can I put this? The Congresswoman is kind of like Vice President Kamala Harris, but with more bartending experience. She has never been accused of being a policy maven. You put her in a presidential primary with Elizabeth Warren or Rahm Emanuel, they will devour her like a light snack. I probably shouldn't say this, but she can get me back. Somebody told me a joke today. They said Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez announced today categorically that she is not a moron. And she went on to say she hasn't even been to Utah, much less embraced their religion. Now, she can get me back. I don't dislike the Congresswoman, but our plan for dealing with her, as I've said before, has always been Operation Let Her Speak. And so far it's working, and my message to my friend the Congresswoman is, you go, girl. You just keep it up.
Well, I think your operation is working very effectively. Senator John Kennedy, thank you so much, as always.